Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Tuesday, March 29th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. All right, so this week we are in the disseminating phase entering this week, which does mean a supportive aspect between the sun and the moon in this solar eclipse cycle. We've been in a very transformational time here in March, and this week is about implementing a lot of the insights that have been coming to us recently over the past week, but as far back as the past 3 or 4 weeks, which is when this whole eclipse cycle started. So lately it's been about where we can change spiritually, where we can evolve spiritually and improve ourselves. This is improve ourselves both on the spiritual level, but also on a physical, material level as well, which is what that lunar eclipse in Virgo was all about. So today it's about implementing that, whatever that might be for you personally, and specifically here, I think in the deeper watery sense. We're going to have the sun and moon both in water signs, and this is going to be the moon in Ophiuchus, emphasizing the fact that this can be an excellent day for healing, an excellent day for transformation, for diving deep with the emotional body. You know, the moon is our emotions, it's our security, it's the deep personal self. And when it comes into these, Scorpion Ophiuchus energies, it unveils that. It brings the emotions to the surface. It brings the past to the surface for healing, for transformation. And that's exactly what's going to be occurring over these next couple days as the moon goes over that galactic center at the end of Ophiuchus, and then we'll shift into the much more expansive energies of Sagittarius. So it all comes through acceptance, though. This is what it's all about with the moon here. This is acceptance of self primarily, and then also with the sun in Pisces, acceptance of the life process, of connecting to the present moment. Maybe even working behind the scenes right now can be a very good way of gaining energy, gaining prana, developing our intuition, right? And all of that is helping us connect to the present, helping us connect to God, helping us have that detached faith and trust in terms of how things are unfolding. So very watery, as you can see, and I think it's an excellent day for all types of spiritual development. Now, in terms of the aspects, we do have Venus going over the South Node and Chiron here today. So Venus going over a very transformational part of the chart. Okay, the South Node is about what's being released. Chiron is about what's being healed. And Venus is our values in life. So Venus is primarily how we connect, right? And what we connect to and who we connect to, right? So this whole perspective about who and what we value in life is going through a transformation these next couple days. And over the South Node, this is specifically in terms of, again, with self primarily, changing our perspective of our values, allowing our values to change. What are some old values that have not been serving us, that have been maybe some over or under extremes in our life? And this is, again, for healing with Venus conjoining up to Chiron. Maybe it's because there's some old wounds. Maybe there's because there's some old insecurities about relationships, about values in life. And so it's an excellent day for really re-examining and really changing our perspective on what and who we value. And I think as long as we're doing that, then there can be a very good transformation. I think the transformation is going to occur naturally, right? But it can help it flow. And again, it's all about acceptance, because before we can heal anything, before we can transform anything, there has to be acceptance. And that's, of course, the first step in the whole process. Now, what's likely changing is, since all of this is in Pisces, it's really so that we can have more acceptance about our relationships, right? More compassion, more sensitivity, and even with our values as well, more acceptance, right? Because things are, of course, not always in our own control. And this is what Pisces shows us, is that there are things larger than self. There's this divine process. And this is in all areas of life, in this sense, including relationships and our values. So the more open we are to changing, and again, this is changing any over, under extremes or unhealthy patterns with our values, then we're doing the spiritual work. And again, it's all through acceptance of where we might have those wounds, where we might have those old belief systems that are limiting us or no longer serving us. All right, so that's going to be the strongest energy of the day. The moon is going to be going over Saturn, and then Saturn is going to be trining up to Mercury. So this aspect's actually pretty good for the mental discipline. In fact, if you're working on anything here today, either on a work level or maybe communicating some things here today, working on the routine in some sense. It could be very good discipline, very good patience and persistence with conveying information, with working on the routine, maybe diving deep with the mental body. And this is again so that we can be building things that are really meaningful to us. And that's what Saturn in Ophiuchus has been showing us. Now, the moon going over Saturn in particular is that we can have this emotional detachment here today. And this can be a very good thing because this conjunction shows us that we do have to have a degree of emotional detachment, right? And it's through that space that we give, that presence that we give between our awareness and our emotions that helps us not necessarily react to the emotions. Because of course the emotions are tremendously important, just like the mind is, but it's important we don't impulsively react to them or with them, that we have that separation, we have that detachment that allows us to act through the present moment, right? And that's one thing that Saturn, especially in all this water energy, can really show us here today. So that's good for that discipline. Then of course the moon will be trining up to Mercury, and there could be some good self-expression, especially when things are deep, right? Things are real, things are meaningful to us, which is that Ophiuchus energy as well. So those are going to be the strongest energies. Now the moon does square up to Venus and that conjunction in the second half of the day. So this is a reminder that it's all about work. The square is about action. It's about integration. It's about taking action. And so how can we actually ground ourselves spiritually? How can we actually take spiritual action? How can we change our routine? How can we implement these things? All right, I think the second half of the day is probably going to be the strongest energy in general because you can see all of these aspects going exact in the second half in terms of those major ones going on. So good patience with that Saturn, specifically with the communication, right? I think very good spiritual transformation when we're open to diving deep. We're open to seeing things for how they are, particularly with our values, how we connect to things, how we connect to people in our life. And again, it all starts with self, with the moon in Ophiuchus, really having that emotional detachment with Saturn that allows us to see what is really going on behind the surface, what's really going on with our feelings, so that that acceptance can take place. All right, so I hope you guys have an excellent day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.